What's going on, everybody? This is the Post Game Report. I am Jose Betancourt, or JVB. I want to talk about the stock market. I've been trying to preach on social media about the importance of investing your money. A lot of people have been buying into these new generation consoles, and there's also a lot of people who can't buy a next-gen console because they're not available. To those people, I say, save up a little extra money and invest in Microsoft, invest in Sony, Nintendo. Nintendo you can get for under $100 a share. If you want a little, some security, you can invest in AMD or Nvidia. I have AMD. I have Nvidia. Now, in Nvidia, they are a little more expensive as far as per share. It's over $500 right now. I got it at a lower price, obviously. Same thing with with AMD. Now, investing into the video game industry is easier than ever. Now, the reason why I started to invest, number one, is after I got injured, I started to think of ways to make some type of income to complement what I'm not getting paid as far as from insurance, from workers' compensation. Of course, they don't pay you your full salary. And being an elevator technician, they're going to give me the max, the insurance company that is, but it's not my salary. So I started to think of ways of making up the income that I'm going to lose out. And also I started to think of ways where, and unfortunately it took an injury to the head to knock some sense into me, literally, where I was like, how can I make my money work for me? And the most important thing to realize is that when you put your money into a savings account or a checking account, especially with savings, you do get some type of interest, but it's very, very low. And what the banks do is they take your money, and if someone else needs a loan, they're using your money to provide that loan. And so that goes on with everybody who has a savings account. So the money is working for the bank. It's not really working for you. When you invest, that money is working for you. Now, investing is not a fail-safe method of creating income. There's risk to it. But one thing about video games and the video game industry is that it has been a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. It has been profiting. Unless we get another 1983 where the video game industry crashed because every week there was a brand new console, you're not going to see another crash when it comes to the video game industry. And because people are staying home due to the lockdown, people are playing video games more than ever. And so the ease of downloading a game via the cloud, that certainly helps. People can order from Amazon if they want to buy physical. Or people can still go and buy a physical disc if they want to by going into a brick and mortar store. So what I have done, I have looked at all of the fine details when it comes to video game consoles and the future of video games as an industry. So I looked into companies that create the haptic feedback for the controllers. I've invested in that. I've invested in the silicone. I've invested in AMD, Nvidia. And then I invested in some of the more popular developers like Take-Two is probably the most profitable one, but Take-Two, Nintendo, and then of course Sony is just more than video games. So is Microsoft. But Sony is known for the PlayStation brand, whereas Microsoft, they are known for cloud computing and software products, and then they have their hardware even in the console market, especially when you consider that Microsoft is pushing Game Pass. So Game Pass will be something that is commonly used in other items or devices, not items, devices that are not owned by Microsoft, meaning that we could see Game Pass or xCloud on Apple devices, Sony devices. It's already on Samsung. So be prepared for Microsoft to make a transition into maybe publishing and utilizing their service, which is Game Pass, as the means or the main means of, or the main moneymaker, which it is right now for the Xbox brand, and they eliminate the need for hardware. So let's say they continue to create controllers and maybe they make a little set-top box that, and I'm not talking about anytime soon, I'm talking about maybe 3 years down the line, maybe 4, and they create a little set-top box. They give you a controller. So even creating the controller, Microsoft is going to have to use some of the companies that I invested in. So you have to think of the market, because one piece of advice is that you invest in things that you know. And because I grew up playing video games, I'm 48 right now. I started playing video games when I was freaking 7 years old. So I've been playing video games. I've been talking about video games for a very long time. So I might as well invest in things that I know. I have Apple, I have Tesla, I have Neo, which is hot right now. So all of that involves electronics. So obviously, if you watch my YouTube channel, I talk about electronics, I review electronic products. So if you think about video games in steps, if you think about what is needed to play a video game, you need a controller. Who builds the controllers? Look into them. Look into the people that create the controllers or the internals for the controllers. The actual console itself. What CPU, what GPU are they using? Who are they using for the memory? Who are they using for the internal hard drive? Those are things, if you look at it and you see the big picture and you say, okay, every generation lasts for about 7 to 8 years. And in this example, I'm going to use Sony. It is, for example, well, better yet, let me use the PlayStation 4. It sold over 100 million units. So AMD did pretty good because they have a partnership with Sony and Microsoft. So AMD, even though their stock price is not as high as NVIDIA, at least you know that AMD is going to be around and they're going to have this partnership with two very popular consoles. So invest in it. It may not skyrocket to the proportions that you see with freaking Tesla, which when I bought Tesla, I bought it at about $500 a share. And then they split the shares. And it went down to about, I'd say, 100 something per share. Something crazy like that. But when they split the shares, it was still high. It was still $400 or so to get into it. Because when I bought mine at whatever, 500, let's say 500 even, by the time they split the shares, meaning that every share became 4 shares, and they divided the share, the cost per share at that time, which was like $1,000, they split it into 4. So now, right now, as of today, Tesla is over $800, approaching $900 per share, even after the split, which is insane. So I got very lucky buying Tesla shares. I have AMD, as I stated, and they've grown. They go up and down, but at least I know that with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, AMD is in there. So they're not going away anytime soon. So those are the things you look at. And then, of course, you look at the very popular Take-Two Interactive. Once they release another Grand Theft Auto, that stock is going to hit. I mean, it has already increased since I bought my shares of it. I could have bought it years ago when a friend of mine told me, "Yo, buy Take-Two," and it was about $60. I bought mine, I think, around a little over 100, and now it's over 200. I can only imagine when a Grand Theft Auto comes out, that thing is probably going to hit the 300 mark, if not a little more. So you have to think of the big picture. Think ahead. All of us are gamers. And you guys know how much I hate saying that word because people just overuse it for any little argument. But we are consumers. We are buyers of these consoles. We love this hobby, this industry. You know the industry. You're spending a lot of money into this industry, so spend the money where it really, really counts. And then when people talk shit to you on social networks, you can say, well, I own a piece of the company, so thank you for buying. And I like doing that. Every time somebody calls me like a Sony fanboy or they assume I'm talking crap about Xbox because I hate Microsoft. I don't usually do it a lot, but sometimes I will say, hey, I do own shares of the company, so thank you for being a fan. And then they don't know what to say after that. But the thing is, you have to think of it as a blank canvas, and then you're trying to determine, okay, what do I need to do in order to draw a picture? What's first? You need an idea, you need a vision in your head, and then you need a pencil to make an outline, and then the brush, what colors, all that. It's you break it down into layers, and all of a sudden you have a plan, and you say, okay, I'm going to invest in the video game industry, and these are what I'm going to invest in. And then you do a little homework. You watch a few videos on YouTube, and you educate yourself. So I go through TD Ameritrade. My wife has Acorn. And, you think of what's to come, and you think of the uncertainty with the lockdown and the virus, and you realize that people are going to still work from home. So you know what? Invest in cloud computing. Look at the big picture. The opportunities are here more than ever. And, not to make fun of the stimulus check, but if you get your stimulus check, if you can, invest. I'm not going to say how much my wife and I have made, but I will say, and it's only been a year. It's only been a little over a year since we invested and finally took it seriously. Our money has doubled. Our money has freaking doubled. And it's only taken a year. So, I'm telling you this because there are a lot of people on YouTube, there are a lot of people on social networks who talk a lot of shit. I'm going to curse. They talk a lot of shit. They talk so much shit. All they're doing is regurgitating the same crap that the last YouTuber told you. And I'm talking about in regards to video games and things like that. You get a lot of the same people talking the same shit, but just creating a different clickbait title or basically giving you 15 minutes of nonsense before they even get to the point. I'm trying to educate the listeners, the viewers, because that's my responsibility. My responsibility, I've always been one to try to help people ever since I was young. Even my job as an elevator technician, as soon as I hear I get a call from dispatch saying there are people stuck in an elevator, I run. I run as fast as I can to get to them, take them out of that elevator, because that's just how I am. I've always been that way. And with podcasting, I take it very serious. I take that responsibility very serious. When I get on the mic, and I sound like a rapper here, I want to make sure that you take something useful. You're spending time listening to me. So why not repay you guys? I don't even ask people to subscribe to my channel. I don't ask you to freaking smash the like button. None of that crap. Why? Because you guys are paying me by viewing my stuff. Now, I do monetize my YouTube videos. Why not? You know, you can easily, skip the ad. But my job is to provide something useful to you. And that useful piece of information that I'm trying to give you right now is to invest. If you're going to spend money on video games and you're going to talk shit on Twitter about video game consoles and get into the video game wars, then invest into the companies that you are fanboying over. Do it. Go all in. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we can be fans of a certain brand, but the people who run it, the people who create those games, they're not thinking about you. So invest into them so that this way, when they are succeeding, you are succeeding. It's that freaking simple. Now, I know times are tough. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people just can't spend too much money in investing. Now you can invest in portions of a share. And you could take that dividend that comes every quarterly or every month. Some of them do it every month. You can take that dividend and reinvest it into the stock so it's building itself up. The opportunities are there, man. We just have to take a look at the big picture. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, clear your head, take a look at the big picture. It's never too late. I did it at the age of 47. I'm seeing the results. I'm not rich. I'm not. But I'm smarter with my money now. So it's never too late to be smart with your money. It's never too late. So anyway, I'm JVB. I'm Jose Betancourt, whatever you want to call me. You can call me Grand Guapo if you want. But I'll talk to you guys later. You guys take care.